What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is John and this is John Paul Investing. Today I'm going to be talking about Nano Dimension's falling price tag, the project that L3 Harris was working on with Nano Dimension originally, and kind of guess where they are right now. And I will share with you how exactly I am positioning myself in the market right now with Nano Dimension. I don't want to make any excuses and say that I couldn't have made a single video, but I have been a little busy with other side projects regarding Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. I finally have what could be a pretty substantial home mining operation that will be set up in the not too distant future. If you guys are interested in that, by the way, let me know in the comments and I will more than likely post some vlogs about that. But besides that, I really haven't seen any material changes in the market besides price falling in a lot of the stocks that we like to talk about. Nano Dimension at the time of this recording is trading at around $5.46. Now I do still have whatever leftover position I had before I moved a lot of that position into Bitcoin. But before I got into all of that, as far as price goes and what I'm doing, I wanted to talk to you guys about their most recent quarterly earnings. They shared a press release with us on August 18th yesterday regarding their second quarter financial results. Nano Dimension reported revenues of $811,000 and $1.6 million for the second quarter and first half of 2021 respectively. The first thing that I noticed immediately off the bat is that if you add these together, it is exactly $811,000 per quarter. So I don't know if the way they're reporting it in their accounting is they're kind of dividing it between both halves, both quarters, so that way it could look like there was revenues for both quarters, but it would be kind of weird to say that they got exactly the same amount of revenue for 2 quarters straight. I think there's some accounting arbitrage or something they're doing behind the lines. I'm not exactly sure how they would do that. I'm not an accountant, but there is something they're doing with the revenues to kind of, I guess, fluff the revenues right now. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's just to please investors while they, get things together. Nano Dimension ended the quarter with cash and deposit balance of $1.4 billion roughly, while the total operating loss for the second quarter was close to $20 million, including approximately $10 million of non-cash share-based compensation plus depreciation and amortization expenses. In April 2021, we purchased 2 entities, Nanofabrica and DeepCube. Hence, the second quarter of 2021 is the first quarter in which we have consolidated the financial results of those 2 entities into our financial statements. So first quarter 2021, their 2 acquisitions were not included in their revenues. So in that case, that kind of indicates that the revenues actually fell for Nano Dimension for the second quarter, because if they're including 2 new company revenue streams and they're getting the same amount of revenue before the acquisitions, that just means that Nano Dimension's revenue stream alone before the acquisitions is actually less than where they started. So that kind of sucks, but we have to see what exactly is going on. We can't really make any assumptions there. But off the top of my head, as they have said multiple times and times again, they are looking to expand their distribution channels and expand the materials that they have and improve the machines that they have through research and development expenses. So higher R&D is a good thing, but we don't want them burning through, that $1.4 billion too quickly. Now, there's 3 things that Yoav Stern wanted to highlight in this press release. If you look here, it says Nano Dimension is a startup business with unique, outstanding, and unprecedented disruptive status, stemming out from these 3 factors. The first one being our unparalleled technology and its prospects for self-learning, self-correcting, high-yield 3D additive manufacturing machines. It is led by one-of-a-kind capability to make a leap toward Industry 4.0, which Industry 4.0, if you don't know, is just moving manufacturing and everything to a cloud, essentially, by integrating DeepCube, which is their patented deep machine learning algorithm process engine. This robotic brain is in the process of being made to run a digital network of 3D fabrication printers, which will convert material inventory stored in a digital cloud into a real 3D printed final product. Only done where it's needed, when it's needed, and only then. Of course, they want to be able to do this with the lights out digital manufacturing. The LDM machine essentially just meaning that they want as little human intervention with these machines as possible, and they just really want them cranking out these prototypes as fast as possible and as accurate as possible. The second factor for Nano Dimension is the $1.4 billion in financial reserves. According to Yoav Stern and how he's looking to manage the funds, this enables the plan for Nano Dimension to expand their R&D for at least the next 5 to 6 years. And this is all with proper quantifiable, and measurable milestones and gateways. Typically, early-stage growth companies are forced to focus on performing on a quarterly basis, pleasing investors while compromising proper long-term execution for much higher returns in the short term. This phenomenon is a result of their need to constantly raise money in order to proceed. It is exactly where Nano Dimension is so well positioned compared to its competition. So Nano Dimension already has the money, so they don't have to do any more raising. They can do things at their own pace, whether investors like it or not. And I think that's a lot of what we're seeing in the market right now, is that there just really isn't anything materializing, so to speak, in quarter over quarter. So I'm not surprised to see Nano Dimension under $6 a share. Now, the third factor that Yoav Stern mentions in this press release is the expansion of their team. Our unique and dedicated teams of over 130 world-class scientists and engineers, up from 70 scientists and engineers from just 8 months ago. So in just 8 months, they were able to expand their multidisciplinary team in the fields of deep learning, data science, material science, process and fabrication technologies, automation, machine building, and advanced electromechanically robotics, as well as CAD, CAM, design support, and software. This is where a lot of engineers like to do their design. All of them are critical for the success of their business model, added value, and Nano Dimension's valuation goals. Now remember, Nano Dimension is not able to please its investors on a quarter-over-quarter basis just because it is a new emerging technology, and it is not expected for a new technology to be globalized and commercially a success in just a few short years. It is going to take a lot more time and research, as we can see with some of the projects that they're doing. L3 Harris putting Nano Dimension's RF antennas on one of their satellites is a great example of this. It is a project that is still in progress, and we are going to have to wait and see what the outcomes are, and we're still not even there yet. But again, just to recap, as part of an experiment to assess the viability of 3D printed materials for RF applications, the circuit will reside outside the space station, exposed to the extreme environment of space. The experiment will test the durability of 3D printed RF or radio frequency circuits in space for potential use in future small satellites. Selected by the International Space Station U.S. National Laboratory for Space Effects Studies, the project consisted of an L3 Harris RF circuit that was 3D printed by Nano Dimension Limited, an additive manufacturer of electronics provider. This is housed on an MISSE flight facility and mounted to the exterior of the orbiting laboratory. The harshness of space is the true test of the material's durability, which could lead to the development of applications in future space missions. Additive manufacturing, or 3D printing, is playing a critical role in advancing the development and applications of small and nano satellites and overall low Earth orbit economy, said Dr. Arthur C. Paulea, senior scientist at L3 Harris. The applications of 3D printing are broad, touching almost every aspect of research, design, and manufacturing. The main objective of this project is to fly an experiment consisting of an integrated communication circuit fabricated by additive manufacturing, or exactly what Nano Dimension does, and analyze the RF properties of those materials in an open space environment. In addition to many satellites that use RF communication systems, the International Space Station orbits in a low Earth orbit environment, providing investigators and scientists a better understanding of how 3D printed technology tolerates the space environment. The experiment will stay outside of the International Space Station for about 6 months before being brought back to Earth for evaluation. Funding for the project is provided by Space Florida and the L3 Harris Innovation Office. So the last part of this is, what exactly am I doing to position myself to kind of ride out this bear market in Nano Dimension and a bunch of other growth stocks for that matter? So just recently I enabled margin in my account. So right now I have this much margin enabled, and I used a whole bunch of it for options collateral. Now, it's not at all what you think. I am not using this margin to buy a bunch of call options. What I have been doing with Nano Dimension is I have been selling cash covered puts. I would advise that you understand all the risks associated with using margin, being margin called, having to maintain margin requirements, and possibly getting assigned shares if you are selling puts. But I wanted to point out the pros of the method that I'm using right now. So why exactly am I using put options with margin? Well, the reason is I am able to borrow money from Robinhood in the form of margin, and if I use it to sell cash secured puts and I am not buying any stock, I am able to use their margin without paying any interest at all on the money they are letting me use. So as long as you are not buying any stock with the margin they give you, they will not charge any interest. So originally I only had a few $1,000s in the account that was available for purchasing power, And what I did is I actually was able to leverage that up to almost double that amount, and I was able to use that money to put towards selling put options. So what I did is I'm able to promise a certain price that I will put up this cash that Robinhood gave me, this margin. I will tie it up as collateral in a put option where I am basically promising to an option buyer that if Nano Dimension goes below $5 by a certain expiration date, in this case August 20th or Friday, that I am promising to buy their shares at $5, whether it's $4 a share, $3 a share on Friday. If Nano Dimension goes to $1 a share on Friday, I am guaranteeing them that I'll pay $5 a share. How likely is that? I would say very unlikely. Of course, anything can happen in the stock market, but I know what I'm buying. So therefore, I'm a little more comfortable paying close to $5 a share or $5 a share for Nano Dimension by Friday, August 20th. Now let me set it to the right setting so it's not confusing you guys too much. So looking at the put that I sold, I have, if you go to sell and put, you'll see that I have 6 put options open right now. I opened them around, I think it was $10 a piece. Right now they're worth around $3. So for each of those, I kept $7. So if we go back to Nano Dimension stock, let's open the put options that I have open right now. I sold 6 contracts at approximately 10 cents per share, or around $10 each contract, because each contract is 100 shares. So I collected $60, and right now the contracts are worth only about $18. So if we get $60 minus $18, I got to keep $42 in premium as of today. If Friday Nano Dimension is still above $5 a share, I will keep the entire premium. So it gives me exposure to Nano Dimension in the form of time value, because that's what you're getting when you sell options. But I'm also giving myself the chance to possibly acquire Nano Dimension at a lower price than it is today. Now the issue in my case is that I'm using margin, and if I do get assigned these shares, I am going to be forced to pay interest on those shares. So I'm using a fairly conservative price for the expiration that I chose. I don't expect Nano Dimension to be below $5 by, tomorrow. Now, if you decide to push out the expiration date to, let's say, January 21st, you'll be able to collect a lot more premium for $5, but a lot can happen in that time. So the further out you go in time, the more time value you can collect for yourself. But you have to remember that the risk to you as a put seller is that you are assigned the shares that you promised to buy. So make sure if you're doing this, you do this with stocks that you are comfortable owning. You don't want to be selling puts on just anything, because if you sold puts on, let's say, Nikola, for example, you would hate yourself right now. But overall, my stance on Nano Dimension has not changed at all. We are still waiting for them to do something that will materially affect the business, to increase their distribution channels, come out with a lot more innovative materials. Maybe their machines are a lot more accurate and faster. Those are things that we're looking for. We're not looking for quarter over quarter earnings just to please a few institutional investors. That is not at all what we are looking for. Now, if you guys learned anything in this video, guys, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell notification to get notified when I make videos just like this one. It might be hard to control emotions, but you can be very smart in how you react to them based on information that you have in your toolbox. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.